Hello, friends. Welcome to this lecture recap. This is the version that we're starting with we have got the player, it can jump around only once, some houses, and the old scene. And the goal in this video is to add the tile set in there and add the camera, basically go over everything we did during the last lecture. So let's start. So the first thing I'm doing is drag and dropping the tileset into there. For that, I'm gonna create a new folder in the sprites folder, call that one tilesets, and just drag and drop the tileset image into that folder, and let's have a look at that image. So it is 1K by 1K image texture, and we have to cut it up. So we set the sprite mode to multiple, apply it, and let's get cutting. So I want to slice this, and here the important thing is, as previously we did it with cell count, this one will work better if we just do it with cell size, since I know they are 128 by 128, and they have some gaps in between every one of 4 pixels in Y and X. So I just add in all this data to slice it up. Now we can visually also see this fits, and I'll just slice the tile set. And that's the first thing. So we have the input image that we have perfectly sliced. And the last thing, since I now know it's 128 by 128, and I want to each tile to be 1 unity unit tall, I will set the pixels per unit to 128 as well. Okay, so then as the next thing, I'm just gonna delete the ground that we previously had, and we now need a tile set. And to do that, right click here, and we can create a 2D object, tile map, rectangular. This will create a grid and a tile map for us to place those tiles on. So this will be our level in the end. And once we have that, you'll see on the tile map, there's nothing there yet, but we can see this grid. And we can click the open tile palette window right here, and now it opens up. So we don't yet have any tile palettes, so we want to create one, which we can do by clicking on this button and click the create new palette button. I'll just call this one now tile set, and we create this tile set. And I'll just select the same folder, just to say, okay, whatever is in this tile set should be created here, right next to it. And now it tells you here to drag the sprites of the tile set that we want to have in there. Just drag it right in there. So I'll just open this up and select all the sprites of our cut up image and drag and drop them into there. And then it asks us to select the folder again because it has to create those tile files out of it. But in the end, we now have the tile palette completely set, and it should be ready to use. So if I click on one of those things now, and then I click on here, you can see I can start painting with my tile set. And we can here click on other ones and just paint and fill in. In case we want to fill in a bigger area, I can also use this button to like drag and drop how stuff should use. And the next thing I'll do is just adding some more, basically just adding more level to it. I'll be back once I create a bigger level. Okay, great. Welcome back. I drew a little bit of a larger level. It's not too big, just so that it is bigger than just the screen that we have. Oops, didn't want to do that. And as the next step, we of course want our player to collide with this thing again. So I'm gonna click on the whole tile map that we have, and to make it a collider, there is a tile map collider 2D, which we can add to this tile map, And once we did that and we start the game, we should see that we can run around on the on the tile set pretty easily. And you already see this one problem that we have with the physics system in this case, that we are stacking to the wall, and I'll show you immediately how we fixed that. So to fix that, we worked with a physics material. So I'm gonna create a new physics material. So you go right click, down here in the project, right click, create 2D, physics material 2D. I call it no friction, and set the friction here to 0. And now on our player, we have this capsule collider and the rigid body, and they both have a slot for a physics material. So if we set the no friction material on both of them now, and I play the game again, we can see that we do no longer stick to the walls. So that's the fix for that thing. But there's another problem with our game right now that we needed to fix, and that is that we don't have a camera that is following our player, and that's what we want to do next. So let's talk about how we did the following camera. We did it by adding the Cinemachine package, and to do that, we go to Window and the Package Manager, and looked in the Unity registry for Cinemachine, and just click and download the package. So doing that can take some while, so I don't want to bother you with waiting for that. So we'll be back once I downloaded the package. And we're back. The package is now installed. So the next step that we did was to add a Cinemachine camera. So right click in our scene hierarchy, go to Cinemachine, and now we can see a lot of cameras here, but what we want is a 2D camera, and I just click it, and that creates this virtual camera component, and it adds this Cinemachine brain to our main camera. And that's basically everything we need for now. So having this virtual camera, we can now tell the camera to please follow our player. First, what I will do is I reset its position because it annoys me. And in here, it has like this follow target. And if I now drag and drop the player into the follow target, and I start our game, you can see we already have a camera that is following us. So to my liking, this is a little bit far out right now, so I want to zoom it in again. You can do that by adjusting the ortho size, and I set it to 5, which is the one that the camera had before. And we can also, in the body, if we click on here and we have this framing transposer, we can have some settings to make the position of our player a little bit better. I'll usually then set the screen Y to 0.7 so that our player is a little bit more down in the camera itself. And I want to have a dead zone. The dead zone is the zone where the player can run around before the camera moves. So here with the dead zone width and the dead zone height, I just set this to about 0.25 or 0.3. Let's do 0.3 for now. And this is now a zone that we can see that our player can actually start walking before the camera moves. And so it does not immediately get very jerky. That is just some nice feel usually for our players. So don't forget to adjust the camera settings to whatever you wanted it to be. And I noticed another problem. You might have seen that we can see some gaps in our tile map, and we had this problem with this tile set before, and the solution was here is the cell gap, and it's set to 0 pixels right now, but it seems that even with 0 pixels it is visible. The tile gaps are visible, but if I set the X tile gap to something like minus 0.001 and the Y gap as well to something very small like that, this now puts the tiles together ever so slightly, and it's apparently that's even a little too big still. So do it like that. Put it on minus 0.1. Only use this. It's kind of a hacky way to solve this problem, but only use it if there are like visible gaps. But with that, you can fix around the grid a bit if it does not work. And yeah, that's basically the most important things that we had. We have the grid, the tile map, and we have a camera that's following our player. The other part that we did was we fired some events when collecting stuff and changing stuff in the UI. But I think we go in more depth in the last lecture where we tackle the UI a little bit more in depth than we did during this lecture again. So I'll keep that out for now. And I hope this was helpful. Have fun.